Good morning, good morning. Hey, Cisco, what's going on? Enjoying your time off? Aloha. Hey, JB, what's up? Dear, how are you? Good morning, everyone. Juan, ¿qué pasa? What's up, Cabron? What's up, Alexander? How are you? You got stranded in the Pacific Northwest? Seattle? Man alive. So, hey, Tibby, how you doing? Cool. Yeah, overnight inventory is short. And we have a poor low. Question is, what can we do with this now? Raj, how are you? Good to have you back. Johnny, what's up? Port Jeff in the house. What are you doing up at 2:30 in the morning in Port Jeff? Up to no good, probably. Getting into trouble. Oh, man. Well, the shorts who got trapped in that gap. Now I've I'm not split adjusted. I've still got stocks in my head. There was a gap here and it's adjusted for the new contract and that has filled in the overnight. And I would imagine Planet Fitness. No way. Oh, that's funny. Good morning to the folks joining us on YouTube. Good to have you with us. So, right now we've got a liquidation going into effect. I thought yesterday was kind of strange. I was running around to frickin' doctor's appointments, so I missed a lot of yesterday. Um, and but I found it very strange that we had a week low at 64, 2 days in a row. Very interesting. In I was like, if that breaks, we're going lower, and there's that break. So that breaks all of this inventory over 64 is long and trapped. Now, I'm going to ask you guys, hey, Omen, how are you doing? Now, you guys tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. How many of you, and I won't judge you, how many of you do not know what it is to be trapped? Because I get that question all the time. You know, you're in your early 20s. Oh, that's good, Johnny. Well, we'll have you retired in 10 years. Don't worry. How many of you don't know what it is to be trapped? Yeah, don't go down that road, Cisco. Okay, seriously, because I get this question every day. What does it mean when you say trapped longs? Now, of course, everyone is thinking it's like some really complex thing, but it's very, very simple, right? Being trapped means you're in a position that's out of the money, which means you're losing money, so you're trapped. So you have two choices. You can either hold on to it and lose all your money, or you can let go of that position and salvage whatever money you have left. Either way, it's a very common term in trading, or it used to be, but now you guys have all these weird expressions like, you know, I don't know what you guys talk about, unfinished business and all sorts of crap. But trap means trapped, right? Exactly. They mispriced their inventory, right? So you bought something at 5 hoping to sell it at 6. It's now trading at 3. What are you going to do, right? As we're talking here, the market's going to probably take out that overnight low. There we go. So poor low has now been corrected, right? Okay. Right. We have lost the bid. I'm curious. I've got an old level from a prior contract at 68.31. I wonder if that at all will be reactive in the new contract. I'm curious. We'll see. We'll see. So right now, I did up some balance zones. Ah, exactly. Hey, P. Yeah, um, the sellers are at the top of the candle. That's where they start selling. Check this out. So if I'm a big seller, right, and I've got a bunch of contracts for sale, and I get down to the bottom of that candle, and I look and I go, hey, there's P, and he wants to buy 100 contracts, or maybe you're a big buyer of 500. What I'll do is I'll start raising price to try and get you to pay more, just like right now. See? You can see it right here. You see, the market came down here, found a bid, the sell orders extinguished, right? Big sell orders, big candles, big sell orders on the way down. It's a great question, very timely, right? You know that there's a seller here at 38 and a quarter, right? Watch. See, there's the seller right there. Boom, right? So they will stop selling when they see buyers. Now let's see if we can get a print at half. Can we get a half print? Watch. Look, the offer's there. Nobody takes the offer. Going begging. Rewind this. Watch. There it is. See how it offers? Now somebody finally took it. But there's still a seller at 38 and a quarter. Now this next level is what? 3/4? Let's see if we can get a print at 3/4. There you go. So as soon as the size sellers see that buyers are present, they will start to raise price, right? So you can pretend the bottom of the candle is like a glass door, and the sellers are looking out into the parking lot and going, hey, there's buyers out there. Let's raise price. Raj, yeah, it's a wider spread tonight. There's higher margins. He's got a bunch of news at 8:30, right? Exactly. People got sold so much garbage, they are now puking it out into wholesale hands, first into the hands of the short sellers. They're always the first to come by, Johnny. And they're Johnny on the spot. Christian, what are you doing up so late? What's going on? Looks like I got the Insomniac crew this morning. Yeah, I know. I woke up at 3 in the morning, too. Weird. It's amazing how much information you can get off a 1 minute candle chart if you just forget about patterns and all of that stuff. Just look to see where the sellers are. So for example, how do you use now? Great. JJ, the seller's at the top of the candle, the buyers are at the bottom. How do you use this information? Well, what you want to do is you want to sit and watch this. And so now you wrap your trading execution plan around actual real information, right? So say, for example, that you went long here, right? You're long 37, stop at 36. If you know that there's going to be a seller at 38 and a quarter, and you know that there's going to be selling in this area, this is where you'd lighten up some of your inventory. Now, there's nothing wrong with patterns, right? It's just that it really helps to understand what's creating the pattern, right? Yeah, it's unfortunately sometimes people get their heads just get filled with so much stuff. You know, start talking about Cool Ranch gaps and flaming hot Cheeto gaps and island gaps and peninsula gaps and all sorts of crazy shit. Excuse my language, right? But if you're a trader, what's the most important thing? You got to know where the inventory's priced and where you're going to do business, right? That's all you need to do. And can I do business in this environment, or should I just sit and watch and wait till some people get trapped? That's always a nice thing, right? Flaming hot gamma squeeze, yes. See, we knew that there was going to be a seller up there at 38 and a half, 39, didn't we? Right? We saw them raise the offer and they went begging. Yes, there's different versions coming, right? Now, we don't want to, the thing, Fred, is we don't want to alienate everyone. So while I don't use Gamma, some people do, so that's why it's in the coach, right? So if we took everything out, people would go, there's nothing about Gamma in here, right? So what I do is I try and get people to use their brain, which is kind of a foreign concept these days, because everybody just likes being spoon-fed information, right? That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I will take that under advisement and talk to the developers, right? Yeah. The thing is, how do you use it in a trade, right? So how do you use the information that you get in a trade? Now, unless you're a securities analyst and you're modeling a portfolio and you're doing all of this sophisticated hedging and you need to know options order flow and all of that stuff, there's nothing wrong with that. But listen, if you're just a dude that's trying to make some money to pay your rent, you need to know where the buying is and you need to know where the selling is. You need to know where you can participate and what kind of participation you need to do in business that day. Then some days business is really bad and the chart will tell you, stay the hell away, right? So right now it's telling us, don't buy this thing yet, right? Right? We're trend down. We had a poor low. We broke that. So size broke that 38, what was that, 37 and a half or something like that, 37 quarter. We took out that poor low here. And let's see what happens. I'm curious about 31 and then 68.05, right? This liquidation is good. Now everybody is looking for a win, like a Santa rally, right? And generally the market will mark up going into the end of the year, end of the month, end of the quarter, but only if the order flow allows that, right? So sometimes the order flow doesn't allow it, so we're not going to get it. Be on guard for that. Just because it usually happens doesn't mean it has to happen, right? That's the big thing about this business. A lot of people get caught up in it has to do this, it has to do that. No, it doesn't. If the order flow doesn't exist, it ain't going to happen, you know? Yes, exactly. After a contract rollover, traders love to get new inventory. You could think of it as restocking the shelves of a store, right? Yeah, it would also help to induce some short selling under here, right? But trapping shorts takes time. Right? You have to be patient. You have to lay a nice foundation. So let's see. Nice cleanup here. Let's see if we take out that 39 half seller. VWAP's all the way up at 51. So inventory is pretty damn short. I'd say inventory is probably around 99% short. So let's look for a move up. Now, if I was if I was trading right now, and I don't even have my trading account open. Let me open it up here. Uh, if I was trading right now, I would feel better about going long over 42. I'm going to let the larger traders clean this up. Right here, I'm going to let the larger traders clean this, and when it gets back up over 42, I could maybe take a 42 to 46, 45 long, and then the rest of the journey is here up to 49. I know there's going to be sellers here, right? Yeah, we need some new inventory, right? What are we going to sell people at Christmas time if we don't have inventory? Very good questions this morning, folks. Oh, what else is new? What else is happening in this crazy thing? Let's see what they do. So my balance is 42 to 49. Halfway is, what's this level? 45 and 3/4, right? I left the cost basis here. You can see this is the cost basis. So what's the agenda of tonight? Right? What is the A plus setup for wholesale? So if you were a wholesaler, your dream would be to acquire inventory in this area and then sell it up here, right? Now we've just had a bit of a flash sale down to, what was our low? 32 3/4. So in a perfect world, you'd want to put a position together between 42 and 49, and then later on this morning sell it between 51 and 60, right? So that's how business is done on a wholesale level. So the shorts came in pretty hot and heavy under 35. So there's a bid down there. That's good, right? We've got a bid down at 35, and this is how you look at a market and you map it out. So you're not like, ooh, what's going to happen next? Should I do this? Should I do this? No. This is the way you get good information that you can actually use to make money, right? And what we do here at the Trading Syndicate, and very important, right? We are here, and the only thing we care about is that you make money, right? You have to get paid doing this. Otherwise, what's the point, right? I mean, you could take there's much more pleasurable activities than trading, right? If you're just looking to have some fun. I mean, for my Canadians, they go curling, right? You could play softball. You could do all sorts of things, right? You want to get paid. This is a job. This is work. So how do you get paid in this business without losing all your money? Well, you have to use a little common sense, right? It's not popular to use common sense because they just want you to just spend your money ridiculously, right? But how do you use common sense? Well, you go, okay, it's a market. What do they do in a market? They sell crap. How do they sell crap? Well, they buy crap at a cheap price, mark it up, and sell it at a higher price. The difference is called profit, right? Very simple. Very simple. How do I profit from this process? Well, you look and see when they have a big sale, you buy a little, and when the price goes up, you flip it out, right? I know it sounds ridiculous. Buy low, sell high, right? When they're having a big sale, you can short a little because you got aggressive price competition lower. Do you guys know what that means? See, the candle guys, and God love the candle guys, but the candle guys, they never tell you what's really going on with the candle, right? So do you see these big red candles? These big red candles, that's aggressive price competition lower. That means I've got 1,000 contracts to sell. Get out of my way or I'm going to run over you. Now, how does that work? Right? Are you guys interested in this? Exactly. You're fighting for bids. So, for example, if I am a trader and I'm long and I see the market starting to get a little thin and I've got inventory and I need to get out of it and I see some larger bids down here, I will hit every single bid to get to that large buy order. And if you're in my way, God help you, I will run over you like a Mack truck. You're not looking for predictability, Fred. You're looking for business. Get that prediction crap out of your head, right? You're not the amazing Kreskin, right? You're not, you're not a mind reader. You don't have the psychic hotline going to your house, right? So just look at the business. You know there's a seller at 40 and 3/4. You know they stopped selling at 38 and 1/4. Right now there is what we call a rotation. This is where they got the inventory. This is where they're selling it. Why are they selling it? Because there's competitive selling up here. So if I'm long at 35, 36, 37, I'm going to sell it at 39 because I know that there are people waiting to sell it at 40. Does that make sense to you? And there's nothing predictable about that. That's just the charts telling you where the selling is and where they stop selling because they've seen buyers. If you replay what I've said about 1,000 times, you will see how simple it is. Now, yeah, it's just common sense, right? Now, I am not against technical analysis. It has its place. But what I want to do is, remember in school, they would tell you, do the math problem, and then you just give the answer, but then the teacher knows that you copied the answer off somebody else. They want you to show your work. I want you guys to do the work. See, there's a seller there. Look, we hit that level to the tick. I'm not predicting. Now I could see that there's more buying coming in, so the sellers are raising price. They're going to go right here to that 42 area. So they're starting to clean up the market underneath 39. What does it mean to clean up the market? It means to buy all the cheap crap that people can't afford to hold on to and puke out. There we go, life over 42 and a half. Now let's see, I'm going to let this candle go. I might miss this trade, but it's a big balance zone. So let me see. Now usually what I would do is I would buy it right here. It would go down, get stopped out, and then go. All right. So my big problem is I always trade too early because I was always trained to go get in there fast, be first to the bid, be first to the offer, right? Sometimes I'll miss this trade. If I see life over that area here, I might start putting in a 44 bid and buy it a little high, right? And now if I know I'm long a couple at say 44, I put out a 45 offer to see if I can get a print. So if I'm long at 44, right, and I'm prepared to buy it all the way down to 42 and 1/4, So maybe another one at 42 and 3/4. These are bigger candles, so you got to use bigger risk. And my risk, if it breaks 42, then I'll start cutting contracts, right? I do teach VWAP, right? It'd be wait it'd be better to wait until it goes down and comes back up again. But I'm just saying if you are a trader who likes to get in fast, right? This is what you have to be prepared for, right? So it's great to have hindsight. That's always 20/20, right? But what if you jumped in the trade early? How do you manage that process? You know what I'm saying, Fred? So the goal of VWAP, NAC, is to buy it underneath it and sell it above. That's it. So if I was long underneath VWAP and we're getting up to VWAP, I'm going to hit out every single contract by 49. Exactly. Right? So if I was long at 44, right, I'm out of the money now. If the market in the next, and this is exactly the trade that I always go in too fast and I don't let the market clean out 42 and a quarter, right? In a perfect world, you do everything perfectly, right? You never take any losses, things like that. But you're a human being, and excuse my language, you're going to fuck up, right? What if you do? What if you're long? Where do you put your stop? Now you've got a reference point as the bottom of this candle that we just had, right? Under 42 and a quarter, now you've got a reference point. Watch the next candle, and if the next candle can hold 42 quarter 42, right? Then you've got some order flow telling you. Now we've got to take out the 43s and go 43 quarter print. There's 43. Can we get a print at 43 and a quarter? The market's moving slow enough that if you were long up here at 43, 44 and a half, like 44 and 43 and a half, 44, if you saw that there was a seller, you go hit the bid and sell a contract right away, right? And you start selling those contracts and lightening your size, right? You manage your size, you manage your risk with size, right? You don't take these trades on small accounts, right? And here you'd be out of the trade, right? So it's a business expense. You fucked up. You went in a little too early, right? You trimmed it, right? Now you wait till London opens and see if London can hold 42 and a quarter, right? You can always buy it back, right? Just, it's not a big deal, right? Let's see if London can go and get up to for that 46 level. You see? So these candles are a little bigger, right? And you might need to adapt how you trade depending on the price action, depending on the size of the candles. These are subtle things that the market's trying to tell you, hey, buddy, this is how you're going to have to do business tonight if you want a shot of making any money. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? Right? And you're right. If you jump in early and you realize that you're early, then you're not going to have a big hissy fit if you have to take a loss. Because trading losses are a cost of doing business. You want to minimize your losses. Very simple. You want to be a smart business person and minimize your losses. See, you got a seller right here again. Check it out. See? And we know that we have sellers here at 45 half. There's a stop here on the half hour, the top of that level there, right? So if you buy a few at 45, sell a few, right? If you're long 44 and 3/8 like I was, I'm out at 45, 45 and a quarter. It's not the greatest trade in the world, right? I'm using the micro just to see if my brain is working. I'm also testing the order flow, right? I got one left and I'm out at, where am I out? 45 half. You know? So I'm testing the market. You get stopped out, you get back in. You don't make a big hairy deal out of it, right? If you're a larger trader, let's see if it can hold this 42 to 46 area. And if so, there's the volume right there. There's the overnight point of control. It moved right up. It's creeping, right? This is short covering, okay? Overnight inventory is short. The natural, normal course of business is to correct higher. Very simple. If you will get a correction into an area where the sellers are waiting for you, right? They're waiting in the bushes. They're all sitting there waiting for you, right? Soon as you get there, they're going to pelt you with contracts, right? Until they see enough buyers that they go, oh, great. Bring them in. Let's move price up, boys. So if you're still long, sell a few here at 47. This is the trade. Look below and fail. The first time was you got faked out, right? Second time, look below, fail. If you still have contracts left, sell a few here. You know there's going to be some traffic here. And sell into this. Sell, 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 Mortimer. Right? Does everybody understand that trade? Cool. You see how simple it is? Now, did I say it was easy? No, it's not easy at all. That's why you got to work at it and work at it and work at it and work at it. But over time, you will develop knowledge. We always have a plan before the open. And see how it's backfilling now? So if you were long 43, 44, right, and you didn't sell at 47, 46, well, too bad, so sad. We told you. I know, it's weird, eh? It'd be very nice, it'd be very interesting to get an insight on how these algo guys program this stuff. But I know it's just order flow, right? They're just sensing order flow and hitting it out, bidding it when the order flow says so. It's not really, and I'm sure the math and all that stuff is complicated, but the execution really isn't. Looking for 49 and a quarter. Let's see if the levels work. And it's nice and slow so you can see it. Yeah, I don't know anything about algos, Fred. I never went to computer science class in grade 11. I skipped out a lot and hung out with the bad girls, so I never made it to computer science in grade 11. Besides, that was like 1985. Front rad 49 and a quarter. All right, close. Now, what's the dream? The dream is to go sideways here. Underneath VWAP, because you know there's sellers here. But we can take all of this cheap crap and sell it up here between 46 and 49. Yeah, that London run, that London morning open is sometimes you get some nice trades, right? And now we get a backfill, right? So we didn't have enough buying to keep it up over 46. The sellers are price competing and they're putting it on sale. Yeah, let's see if it holds 42, 43. Now, had I been on the ball, I should have been short 48, stop 49 and a quarter, covering 46, 45, right? I missed that. Oh. So when I miss a trade or I don't even see it or I think about it after the fact, that's what I write down in my trading journal. Discipline lacking, missing trades, right? Missed an obvious short, right? Perfect trade would be a look above and fail of 49 and a quarter, but a fail to look above, you could take that and put your stop right here. Right? It'd have been good. You're shorting the backfill, right? The time of the trade is about a minute, 2 minutes at the tops, right? We backfilled for a whole 1 minute candle, so you had to be quick, right? You had to be quick. That is a true scalp trade. Still a seller at 49. Good to know. Good to know. So a little rotation here, 46 to 49. What are we doing now? We're waiting, right? They're distributing, nothing to do. Pretty slow. Hey, yes, that sounds like a plan. Thank you. Point of control is moving up. Size is coming in. A little bit of distribution. When that point of control moves up, it means what we bought down here, they're buying up here, right? So anybody who bought size there is distributing it up here. That's why we have these rotations. See? Back and forth, right? So you get inventory, you do a little rotation, that brings in buying. The people who shorted down here are covering. That's why the bid's holding at 45. They're the support. You guys still awake? Still there? So right here for me, there's no trade, right? Let's see if we could pop it over VWAP, right? Just checking. Yeah, we've got to get this thing over VWAP, and that's the hard part right now. We need the order flow. And if we do get over VWAP, there's going to be sellers up here at 50, 53 half. Make a little run for VWAP here. And then this 54 quarter level was a level that I was watching on the old contract. Just curious to see if we get any interaction there. Wise guy, new in here. Does this really work? I mean, do we make money? Hell yeah. We print. So people who are new, welcome. I'm JJ. I'm vwaptrader1 on X. You've stumbled into the tradingsyndicate.org. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself while we're selling some contracts up here. So I've been in the business since 1993. I've been doing this for 34 years. I've taken 200 companies public, and I've probably sold more stock into the United States clearing system than you guys will have ever traded in your entire lives. I'm a liquidator, right? So I make markets, I do deals. I had a heart attack in 2012, so I had to do something a little less stressful, so I teach. So what I try and do is I try and take people who don't know anything about how markets work, and I try and teach them how to make a living without all the bullshit and gibberish that you guys have to endure in regular trading rooms, right? Or on Twitter or stock idiots or whatever, right? People talking about a bunch of crap that doesn't work. It's trading simple. It's been around for thousands of years. You buy some inventory, you try and sell it at a higher price. I don't use footprints at all. And let me tell you something about order flow. Order flow is a marketing term. So what the industry does is let's try and, because people don't know anything, Let's use these fancy terms like order flow. Guess what? Every trader is an order flow trader. There's your 7 points, right, Mikey? You're all order flow traders, right? The market is based on order flow. Buy orders flow in, sell orders flow in. When they transact, they print. That goes on the tape, and that goes on the chart, right? I don't use footprints charts. I use the TPO chart, which is like a map of the city, but I do all my trading based off a 1 minute candle chart. So very simple, right? As you can see, the offers are lifting over 49 and a quarter. If we don't have a seller at VWAP, what does that tell you? We should have a seller here at 68.51, right? If you offer and print 52, 53, 54, what does that mean? It means the wholesalers who are long under 47 see buyers and are raising price. Look for the seller. They're at the top of the candle. Yeah, I've probably sold more stock in one company than everybody who's listening on this YouTube has ever traded in their life. You know how McDonald's says billions and billions served? Me, it's billions and billions sold. So I've always been a trader for the insiders, for the smart money. So when you guys are buying a stock at $5 a share, we paid 0.0001 for it, and we're selling it to you at $5. And we have hundreds of millions of shares. They are in offshore accounts you guys don't know about. That's why when you get big volume in a stock, you'll be like, it's going to go higher, and then it keeps going lower because we're dumping into it. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take that information and help retail traders, right? Help retail traders make a living so they don't keep being eaten, they don't keep being the dumb money, right? Use very simple execution mechanisms and a business plan. Watch VWAP now. If we pop up over VWAP, let me make this bigger, it means that somebody's got an appetite and they're coming for it. Otherwise, we should hit VWAP. You see the space between VWAP and the top of those candles? That's where the sellers are, right here. These are sell orders. So I don't use footprint. What you see on this screen is what you get. Order flow is a marketing term. Just like in the 80s, the word turbo was a marketing term. Turbocharged cars came out and everybody wanted a turbo. They had turbo cologne, they had turbo toothpaste. All you had to do was use the word turbo and the people would go nuts for it. Now you use the word order flow and everybody just goes kooky for it. But guess what? You're all order flow traders. Look above and fail of 49 and a quarter. If you are short 48 and a half, 49, your stop's up here at 50. You're looking for bids at 47. So my trading is based on common sense in the business. No bullshit. Excuse the language. But it's early in the morning. There's no sense in lying to you folks, right? You look for the buyer. The sellers will find the buyers for you. See? You see that red line here? When that red line starts moving higher, it means the sellers have found buyers and they're raising price. Very simple. Very simple. That was an inventory adjustment. This was a little sale. You take price higher, that creates demand. That brings the suckers in. When you run out of suckers, you lower price, and that will induce more buying, hopefully. Right? We got a seller at 49 and a quarter. Good observation, mother truck. Right? So if you're shorting, watch this next candle. Watch the top of the next candle. If the top of this next candle can't reclaim 49 quarter half, you can stay short. See? Top of this candle, couldn't take 49. You can stay short or you can initiate short. Put your stop at 49 quarter, put some bids at 47 and some bids at 46 quarter. If those bids do not get executed, then you know there's no supply at that price. This is common sense. There are no indicators that are going to help you with this. You have to use your brain. And you should be covering here. Right? So you should have gotten some maybe at 46 and a half. If you didn't get a 46 and a half fill, you should take the offer. Look at how the offer is moving up. Because everybody's taking it. Sellers see buyers. So now you know they initiate selling here, they stop here. There's your rotation. If it takes out 49 and a quarter, you're looking for 50. If it does that, it'll rip VWAP. If we get enough people short down here, we'll be able to have the fuel to push up. No problem, wise guy. So I teach every day here at thetradingsyndicate.org. And we're doing a special. We only charge $19 a month. Okay? So people have time to learn. So if you join our trading room, what can you expect? You can expect to be taught how to make money without all the BS and the gibberish. We're not going to try and sell you any indicators. We're not going to try and sell you special software. We will work with you and try and make you see how markets work and then teach you how to execute. Very simple, right? Execution is what we focus on. Your analysis, once you get your analysis down, should take less than a couple of minutes. So your analysis is where's the inventory, right? Because you're a trader, right? You need to know where the inventory is priced for the session. You need to know where the discount zones are and the profit zones. Then you wait for your trade. Very simple. There's VWAP. We tagged VWAP. So they're seeing some buying. Oh, look at that. Look at the offer lifting over VWAP. Told you. Now, you got to ask yourself, how many people shorted and got trapped here? Because those are the people who are going to cover right now. And that's why we took out VWAP. Next target will be 52 and 3/4. So this blue area is where the inventory is priced from yesterday. See? Now we're going to take all of this volume, right? This is our position. This is the deep discount. Now we're going to take this and we're going to try and sell it up here for the rest of the night. Does that make sense? So you take this and try and sell it up here. And that's what you do in a market, right? You take inventory and you wait until enough buyers come in and then you nail them. We have supply here in this red box. So you are going to see a little resistance at 53. Now, what happens if the market just rips through 53? That means we've really run out of supply and we've trapped a lot of people short and they're racing to cover. Right? So once you understand these principles, and they're not really complex principles, once you understand this stuff, it's going to free your mind and you will be able to focus on execution. Right? Because the devil is in execution, and it's also knowing when to change the way you execute, what tools you use for different markets, all those little subtleties. That's important. Yeah, you're right, Moran. Well, let's see what happens today. Every year end has its own special flavor to it, you know? Every year end has its own little flavor. Let's see what the drama is here. See how we're creeping into the red box? Somebody got too short. Watching 54 and a quarter to see if we get any reaction too. New contract, old levels. Let's see how they work. Exactly, right? So if we completely run out of supply, we'll we'll get up into this red box. Now, if you are in that state of mind of shorting and you're shorting this level, like say you're shorting 52, your stop will be just right here. And you'll be looking for 49, 48 on the backfill. All the short-term inventory is below us, Moran. So if we reclaim that candle, be careful on the short side. Thanks, everyone. That's it for me for tonight. So remember, if you're shorting, you want to have some bids down here. The levels seem to be working okay, right? But if the market starts taking out that high and getting into this red area, be careful, okay? I will see everybody at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for our next session. Thanks for joining me this morning. Have a wonderful trading day. Remember, trade safe out there. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, do not take candy from strange market makers. Mahalo, Cisco. Go enjoy that beautiful Hawaiian sky. Raj, thank you. We'll see you guys. Thanks, Jared. Badir, I'll call you in a couple hours. Want to see how you're doing on the software. And we have to do a session too. Cool beans. All right, everyone. We'll see you in a little bit. Bye for now.